Nick, a key consideration in the NHS is how regulators and inspectors can assure the public that services are safe. Your primary focus is on outcomes for prisoners. How do you go about it?
Well, you can't offer guarantees, but I think the key is we do what it says on the tin, really, in that we regularly go to prisons, inspect, look at what's actually happening, talk to prisoners, talk to staff, spend time there to really get under the skin of the place and from that draw conclusions about what's happening. And then there's a lot of pressure on the prison to take what we say seriously and put our recommendations into effect.
Some have said it's very difficult for inspectors to look at outcomes. They can only look at systems and processes. Yet your focus is primarily about outcomes. How do you go about it?
Well, we're absolutely focused on outcomes. Some outcomes you can measure. Do people have somewhere to live when they leave the prison? Are people safe? Are they, other violent incidents? Others, sometimes you have to look at proxies for the outcome. If these processes are in place, you'd expect the outcome to be achieved. But we absolutely start from what's actually happening to prisoners in this place. And if they weren't right, then we would look back at what are the processes that maybe that were going wrong that contributed to that.
You have a set of standards that are set by the Chief Inspector of Prisons. Who else do you involve in setting those standards?
Well, our standards are referenced against human rights standards and international prison norms, and have been built up over time as a result of our own experience. We consult about them and we keep them under review. And what we aim to do is have standards that stretch prisons, but aren't so far ahead of what they can actually do as to feel unachievable.
You differentiate between the prison service having an inspectorate rather than a regulator. What happens when things go wrong? And do you have the powers to help the prisons to improve?
Well, to be clear, the people who are responsible for making sure prisons improve and that things don't go wrong is the prison management. It's absolutely not us. So one of the features of the way we work is we are absolutely not part of the management of the prison service. So what we do is we hold up a mirror, we tell people what's actually happening on the ground in the wings to the prison and to the outside world. We tell them what we think should be done to improve it, but it's up to them whether they do that or not. We'll go back and we'll look and we'll see whether our recommendations have been used, and if they haven't, then we'll have something to say about that. But in the end, the responsibility for putting what we say into practice or not rests with the management of the prison.
You mentioned that at the end of an inspection, inspectors deliver their initial conclusions at a meeting of the prison's internal and external stakeholders. How important is that process in influencing the prison's improvement plans compared to the detailed report that then follows?
Well, I think it is important. I think inspections are a big deal. I've been inspected lots of times. Inspections are a big deal for the people on the receiving end. So it's important, I think, that there is a proper end to it and it doesn't end flatly. So our formal feedbacks are an important part of the process. It's up to the prison who they invite. Normally they invite, maybe it's 30, sometimes hundreds of people. And we'll deliver very tough messages in public if that's what's required, or if it's praise, then they get praise. And I think that is an important part of giving our conclusions momentum so that the prison then sets to and starts immediately the day we go to put right anything that needs to be changed.
We've heard from the discussions this morning that there can be a risk where the inspectors have a different level of experience and lag behind the experience of the inspected. How do you assure that problem doesn't arise in the prisons inspectorate?
Well, about half of our inspectors are seconded prison governors, so senior prison governors who come to us for a 3-year secondment. So we want people who've got up-to-date operational experience. But it's important, it's not just them, that's driven by people from other professional backgrounds, and in the end, the conclusions are mine, not the inspectors. And I think that's that mix of seconded governors and permanent staff is important for our credibility and effectiveness.
Why 3 years?
Well, 3 years is long enough, I think, for people to put a bit of distance between them and the prison service, but not so far that their experience comes out of date. That kind of works for people in career terms. It's what I want also it to be a good thing. If you're in the prison service, I want a spell in the inspectorate to be an important part of people developing their career. So it's something that high flyers want to do. So we get the best people, and then we can help feed that experience back into the service.
Nick Hardwick, thank you very much for sharing your experience of the prison service today and your passion for your sector.
Thank you.